And can't believe another school year is winding down. We just have a few weeks left, and hope everyone has a successful closing of this year's school year. And we're just coming back. We look forward to seeing you in August. Be here before you know it. Hope you have a great and safe summer. And at this time, I would ask Mr. Cutler if you would lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Let us pray. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still water. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, God. At this time, I would like for everyone to stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, our Superintendent, Dr. Gainey, will share some comments.
Thank you, Mr. Cook, and thank you for everybody in attendance tonight, board members. Just want to make a couple comments. Past month, we've had a lot of activities going on throughout the school system, recognizing the great talents of our children and our staff. And just want to thank everybody who's been responsible for making those activities and opportunities possible for our children. Also want to just make a comment about May 8th. We recognized at our annual retirement years of service banquet, we recognized our retirees and also individuals with 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 years and 50 years of service. And just want to say thank you to all of them for their great work for our school system and for the great state of North Carolina. And just thank you to all the staff who made that event possible. Today, prior to this event, this meeting, we were over at RCSS. We recognized a lot of employees at our annual employee recognition event. I want to thank the HR staff and many others who were involved in that. Andrea and staff and Beverly, I know, were involved in getting the refreshments and everything, and then other staff were involved throughout the time. Graduation season is just around the corner, or actually, I guess you could say it's here. I think it's 3 weeks from today. Actually, we have one graduation on Wednesday at Randolph Early College High School. That graduation will be at 10 o'clock at Journey Church in Asheboro, and the rest of the graduations will be on June 10, Eastern Randolph, Providence Grove at 6 and 8, Eastern at 6, Providence Grove at 8. Ramblin High School and Southwestern Randolph High School will be at 7, and then Trinity High School and Wheatmore High School will be at 6 and 8, Trinity at 6, Wheatmore at 8, and Uwharrie Ridge 612 will be at 6:30. All of those are on their campuses, with the exception of Early College High School and Uwharrie Ridge, which also will be at Journey Church. And I just, as we close out the year, I just want to wish all of our students listening, all of you in here, good luck as you close out the year with your integrated test and course test. School system is very proud of you, and I know you will do your best. And I also want to say something to our high school seniors as you enter a special time of life, which is called graduation season. I ask that you be safe during these exciting times. They are exciting times. I have been a high school principal, spent most of my career at the high school level. I love every bit of that, but I also know that it's important that we keep our kids safe and don't let the moments around them lead to unsafe decisions that can affect them for the rest of their lives and families. So seniors, enjoy your time, enjoy graduation, and we're going to enjoy, I said at an event Saturday night, and I was there for one reason, to watch a couple get married, but what I had a lot of fun doing was watching all these kids who I'd seen go through this one particular high school, who now were 3 and 4 years later, 3 and 4 years older. And I could just, remember that child, and just watching them now as they've taken that next step 4 years later into adulthood. And it was very exciting to see how happy they seemed and how much they had taken advantage of opportunities with us and beyond us. At this time, I'm going to step out in front. I want to make a special presentation, Mr. Cook, if the board will allow me to. So I know we're here to recognize students, and we will do that tonight. We have star employee recognition multiple times through the year. We've been through all those rounds, but if you stay somewhere long enough, you start having your great teammates start to leave you. And if Gwen Ashworth's probably not going to like the fact that I'm recognizing her tonight. So, but Gwen has been a great teammate. When I got here, she was at Southwestern Randolph Middle School as a principal. I asked her to go to Eastern Randolph High School at the end of her first year. I don't know if she saw that coming. And then when the executive director for student services came open, I was pretty certain that Gwen Ashworth was the person that we need to ride a long ways with in that position. And we have. 9 years later, she's saying, you can stay, but I'm leaving. So I don't know. Maybe because of me, Wendy, I don't know. But she's got a grandbaby that was born last week. And we started leadership today about 30 minutes late because Gwen was showing all the pictures. And she was showing them all, but she waited for the one where she was holding the grandbaby, which I thought, there's got to be one here for that. So I don't know anything about, well, I do, don't tell my wife. I do know a little bit about babies, but thank goodness for my wife, my kids probably wouldn't survive. But I know this, Lena's very excited to be a grandma, or what are they going to call you, Nana? Nana, okay. I'll probably still call you grandma, okay? But Lena, if you come forward. And Lena's one of the great people who walk through this school system. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have anything else?
No, I'm good.
I was hoping she would hug you.
She's still got a couple of days left.
Okay.
She knows hugging's not an option.
I would say, come on, get it. So at this time, I need a motion to approve the April 7, 2025 minutes.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, at this time, we're going to move to the recognitions. Ms. Amber Ward does a great job with this.
Thank you, Mr. Cook, and good evening to you, our other board members, Dr. Gainey, and to all of our guests. Each year, students in career and technical student organizations, CTSO, compete in local, regional, and state events to demonstrate skills that they have acquired through curriculum activities and individual efforts outside of the classroom. They compete against students from across our state with the hope of earning a chance to compete at the national level. Each CTSO has specific requirements for qualifying for national competitions based on factors such as the number of competitors in the event and the type of event. It is an outstanding accomplishment to qualify for any national CTSO event. This evening, we would like to recognize our Career and Technical Education Department's national qualifiers for 2025. On March 12, Providence Grove High School's Farm Business Management senior team traveled to the University of Mount Olive to compete against 31 other high school teams across the state. Providence Grove High School's senior team rose to the top, finishing first overall in the state. As a result, the team will advance to the national competition in Indianapolis this October. This remarkable achievement reflects the team's dedication, hard work, and passion for agricultural business. Team members, as I call your name, please come forward to receive a Pride in RCSS certificate. And as they come forward, anyone here in support of the team member is welcome to stand. Students, please remain standing at the front until all names have been called. Advisor, Morgan Johnson. Team members, Troy Blakely, he placed third individually in the state. Peyton McGraw, Caleb Ward, and Hunter Ward. And Hunter placed first individually in the state. Last year, this team placed second. They were almost first by 1 point, so they did it. SHED, Student Hands-On Experience Day, is a real-world competition challenging students to put their academic and hands-on knowledge to the test. This contest involves a team of 6 students who are given a set of blueprints for an 8x12 utility building on the first morning. Teams then look over their plans and begin the building process. Teams are given 3 days to complete the building. The building includes floors, walls, rafters, roofs, shingles, siding, trim work, installation of 2 windows with trim, and a steel double door. All phases of the building are inspected by certified building inspectors from across North Carolina who have volunteered their time. Inspections encompass the same requirements as in building a residential home. RCSS students participated in the Lee County SHED competition this year. SHED exposes our students to contractors across our state and other building industry partners. A majority of our students have been offered interviews and/or jobs while participating in this event. Southwestern Randolph High School finished first place this year with an impressive 1,192 points out of a possible 1,230. Mr. Perry would like to express his gratitude to the Randolph County Board of Education, Dr. Stephen Gainey, Mr. Brian Hodgen, Dr. David Cross, Shook Construction, and Doggett Concrete for supporting our students and offering them these opportunities. Eastern Randolph High School finished in third place. Mr. Flecken would like to thank the Randolph County Board of Education, Dr. Stephen Gainey, Dr. Susan Chappell, Dr. David Cross, Samet Construction, and Aggregate Group for supporting our students and offering them these life-challenging opportunities. Team members, as I call your name, please come forward to receive a Pride in RCSS certificate. And as they come forward, anyone here in support of the team member is welcome to stand. Students, please remain standing at the front until all names have been called. I will call out Southwestern Randolph High School first. Southwestern Randolph High School 2025 team consisted of Advisor Jeff Perry, Colton Fisher, Benjamin Harris, Wyatt Johnson, Ethan Sermon, Oscar Vasquez, and Noah Wilson. How are you? Eastern Randolph High School 2025 team consisted of Advisor Jeff Flecken, Jackson Bayer, Caleb Campbell, Sarah Ledbetter, Kayla Macon, Cody Ritter, and Lillian Waddell. It's now time to recognize our Star 3 students for May. The Star 3 program honors students who are respectful, responsible, and doing the right thing. The criteria for selection could include being a role model for others, making positive accomplishments inside and outside of school, good attendance, passing grades despite obstacles in life, good behavior, and nomination from a faculty member. We again want to extend our gratitude to our Star 3 sponsor, Wayne Thomas Chevrolet, who will purchase the 96 Star 3 student plaques to be handed out during this school year. We are grateful for their support of our students. And now to the presentation of the Star 3 awards. Students, as I call your name, please come to the front to receive your plaque and remain at the front until all students have come forward. Parents, other family members, or anyone else here in support of the student are welcome to stand. After all the students have come forward, there will be an opportunity to take photos at the end. Coleridge Elementary School, Austin Leonard. Coleridge Elementary is proud to recognize Austin Leonard as our Star 3 student. He embodies what it means to be a Coleridge Rocket and shows our rock expectations each school day. He is respectful towards adults in our school and works cooperatively with his classmates, making each classroom he enters a better place. You can count on Austin to always give you 100%, even when tasks are challenging or new. His honesty and dependability make him a trusted student and friend who prides himself on helping others. We are proud to call Austin our Star 3 student and are thankful he is part of our Rocket family. Eastern Randolph High School, Kinley Whitaker. Eastern Randolph High School is proud to recognize Kinley Whitaker as our Star 3 student for May. Kinley is a Wildcat through and through and has overcome adversity and challenges to make a lasting impact on our school and community. Since 9th grade, Kinley has dealt with multiple injuries, all while giving her all to the basketball and volleyball teams. She embodies the true meaning of a student athlete, maintaining exemplary grades as a multi-sport athlete. She rallied through her senior basketball season to help her team and waited until the season was over to have surgery. When Kinley is not playing ball, she is busy volunteering around our school and community, not for recognition, but because she has a passion for service and doing things for the greater good. Kinley has been SGA treasurer all 4 years of high school and was chosen for the Student Lift program, where she led a service project that raised $1,600 for the Family Crisis Center. Kinley plans to attend Elon University and major in exercise science with a plan to become a physical therapist. Farmer Elementary School, Elijah Law. 4th grader Elijah Law is a kind young man who loves to smile. This year, he has come to understand about what it truly means to put forth his best effort. He has learned that success isn't about being perfect, but about giving consistent effort and pushing through challenges. He has begun to approach each assignment with focus and determination, and he has started asking questions when he needs help. He has truly taken pride in his growth. This shift in mindset has not only helped him to improve his grades, but also boost his confidence and sense of responsibility. We are so very proud to name Elijah as our Star 3 student for May. Seagrove Elementary School, Sage Colson. Sage is a hardworking student. She completes assignments without complaining and with her best effort. She is kind to her classmates and willing to help when needed. She has a positive attitude and strives to be the best she can be. Sage follows your expectations no matter where she is in the building. Seagrove is proud to call Sage our Star 3 student. Southeastern Randolph Middle School, Bill Ayers. Bill Ayers comes to school every day with a positive attitude and a big smile, always ready to give his best effort. He consistently completes every assignment with care and enthusiasm, showing a strong commitment to learning. Bill is not only hardworking and focused, but also incredibly cooperative and kind to his classmates and teachers. Bill demonstrates a sense of joy and determination that inspires others. Bill truly represents what it means to be a Wildcat, and we are proud to nominate him as Southeastern Randolph Middle School Star 3 student for May. School, Henley Allman. We are proud to recognize Henley Allman as Southmont Elementary Star 3 student. Henley is an outstanding student who leads by example in everything she does. Her teacher, Ms. Hookcamp, shares Henley is a role model for her peers. She works hard academically, is honest, and strives to be kind to all of her classmates. One of Henley's most heartwarming qualities is her thoughtfulness. She often leaves encouraging notes around the classroom to lift others up, especially when she knows someone is having a tough day. Henley's kindness, integrity, and dedication truly shine, and we are so proud to honor her with this recognition. Southwestern Randolph High School, Katie Shaw. Katie goes above and beyond in everything she does. Not only is she an excellent student, but she is also heavily involved in extracurricular activities and has an exceptional heart. During the fall semester, she interned in the Exceptional Children Self-Contained Classroom as a course requirement and enjoyed it so much that she elected to continue her internship throughout the spring as well. She has established a trusting relationship with each of the students, and they absolutely love her. As a future High Point University student with a major in EC adaptive curriculum, her patience and love for her kids will lead her to do amazing things. Congratulations to Katie Shaw on being selected as Southwestern Randolph High School's Star 3 student for May. Southwestern Randolph Middle School, Lillian Williams. Lillian Williams, 8th grader, was nominated for this award by one of her 6th grade teachers, Mrs. Martin, who wrote the following. Lillian is a bright young lady with a heart of pure gold. She strives to do her best on every assignment and is a jewel both in and out of the classroom. You can usually find her greeting her teachers with a smile and positive attitude first thing in the morning. I love catching up with her at the end of the day in the car runner line. I'm thankful for her kindness and sweet spirit, which she has exhibited all 3 years of middle school. She is a wonderful example of the Southwestern Randolph motto, striving for excellence, working with integrity, and respecting herself and others. I believe that she will accomplish amazing things in her future, and I am proud to nominate Lillian as the Southwestern Randolph Middle School Star 3 student for the month of May. Tabernacle Elementary School, Judith Saramento. Judith is a true-to-life model of the Tabernacle School Student Pledge, and she brings the school pledge to life each day that she walks into the classroom. She is kind-hearted and wears her heart on her sleeve to be of service to anyone needing help or to be a friend when times are challenging. Judith has received the most dojo points multiple times this year, and her classmates happily cast their votes for her when they look for someone to represent them for Virtue of the Month. Judith enjoys taking responsibility for cleaning the cafeteria every day after lunch and in the classroom at the end of each day. Judith truly has a servant's heart and a caring nature. She should receive this award based on her consistent positive character. We are proud to have Judith represent Tabernacle as our Star 3 student. The Virtual Academy at Randolph, Tristan Roberts. Tristan is a shining light at the Virtual Academy at Randolph. He's rarely seen without a big smile and brings an energy that lifts everyone around him. Whether he's greeting friends, chatting with teachers, or diving into a new lesson, his positivity is truly contagious. Tristan is not only kind and enthusiastic, he's also a dedicated and hardworking student who gives his best in everything he does. His love for learning and connecting with others makes our virtual classroom a better place every day. As a proud Voyager, Tristan truly leads the way. He knows his path and walks it with confidence, while also encouraging and guiding others along theirs. He embodies the Voyager spirit through his curiosity, compassion, and leadership, making him a role model for his peers and a joy to learn alongside. We are so very proud to honor Tristan Roberts as the Virtual Academy at Randolph Star 3 student this month. Uwharrie Ridge 612, Madeline Davis. Uwharrie Ridge 612 is lucky to have Madeline as one of their students. She works hard in her classes each and every day and is often seen helping her peers. What really makes Madeline stand out is the way she treats others. Principal Hill says Madeline always has a smile on her face, and when you see her smile, it just makes you happy. Ms. Freeland, Madeline's band director, says Madeline always does what is asked and does it very well. Our band is better because of her. Madeline enjoys playing basketball and volleyball in her spare time. Uwharrie Ridge 612 Star 3 student is Madeline Davis. Scrunch up a little bit.
Some more behind you.
Congratulations. You are dismissed. Thank you all for coming.
Board members, here's the calendar.
Okay, at this time, we're going to open up the public hearing for the potential closure of the virtual academy at Randolph. And we have 3 people signed up for public comment. And you'll have 3 minutes. And the first one is Robert G. And if you'd like to come up and give your last name, you're more than welcome to. Appreciate you coming.
Absolutely. Good evening, Board. My name is Robert George. We have a 9-year-old that has gone to the Virtual Academy since it was initiated. She started at the Franklinville when it went remote, and she's been there. A couple things. She has several special needs, not only educational-wise, but medical-wise, that does not allow her to go to public schools. She has recently been diagnosed with autism. She has multiple heart devices. She has a nurse with her at all times at her home. We spoke it with one board member when we was out in public a couple years ago when this had come up. And a couple things I'd like to point up is that sign behind you says it all, student first in all we do. The 7-page report that Mr. Gaines presented here, really there's a couple points that I want to make on here that reason number 4 in here for the inception of the program was not related to COVID. It was for the needs of our daughter. Every day is the reason we started it. Most of this report here geared and relied mostly on financial. No one ever reached out to us about what is the need that your daughter why. So I made a couple of points here. On page number 5, it was mentioned that there was no negative impact to the family or the student. That is furthest from the truth that could ever been put on black or white paper. She cannot go outside without picking her skin, biting her skin, scratching her hair. She's had special therapy for it. If it wasn't for the staff of the virtual academy here, she would not be where she's at now. Another thing here that I want to point out is the last paragraph again. It was mentioned that there is options as far as virtual academy. Nowhere mentioned in here in this report did anybody call this virtual academy North Carolina and tell you there's a wait period for that, and there's no telling when there's an opening for a 5th grader. So that was not documented. And lastly, the needs of the students cannot be contained in a 7-page report. It can talk about financial documents, it can talk about their enrollment and all that, but first and foremost, students first and all we need. The virtual academy is needed greatly for students that cannot attend regular class, cannot go to the classroom, cannot function outside of a safe environment. I wish our daughter wasn't blessed with the blessings that she has and could go to public school, but she is not. So for there to say that there's not a negative impact, that's furthest from the truth. We see it every day. We see it in our eyes. Her teachers see it and everything. But thank you. I yield back my time.
Thank you, sir. Second person signed up was Brian A. You might give your last name. We appreciate it.
Good evening, my name is Brian Allman. I have a son at the Virtual Academy of Randolph. He's in 3rd grade, he's 9 years old. Sorry for losing my voice a little bit. This is my second child who went to the Virtual Academy. My first one has aged out and is at Trinity High School now. The Virtual Academy gave him all the confidence in the world. He's special needs, but now he's at Trinity and he's doing exceptional, okay? I'd first like to start by asking the board a question. Are any people on the board, do they have any children in Randolph County Schools currently? Okay. So we have one. And has any of the current board members ever been taught virtually? Okay. The reason I'm saying that is, like the gentleman before me, all children learn differently. All children have their own exceptions, their own ways to strive. Excuse me. And I think, this is my personal opinion, I think we're looking at this thing in a monetary value. Is it worth the money? It's worth the money to me. Might not be worth the money to the Randolph County Schools, but it's definitely worth the money to me. Because my child strives in this environment. I don't know that he would strive back in the regular setting. 90% of the kids do, 10% don't. You know, or the 10% throwaways? No, I don't think they are. So basically, I want to know what your intentions are for next year. You know, like the gentleman before me said, you didn't give us any time to make other arrangements. If you shut it down this year, at the end of this school year, my child either goes to Trindale Middle School, elementary school, or I put him somewhere else. That may mean pull him out of Randolph County School, okay? So I don't know yet, because I haven't gotten down that far yet. I've signed a contract with Randolph County Schools for next year for my child to be in the virtual academy. As far as I'm concerned, that's a binding contract, okay? So if you breach the contract, you know, do I have a leg to stand on? Probably not, but, you know, I might be a thorn in your side, you know, so I'll come eat at your house for a few days. How about that? And I just want to know, you know, is Randolph County Schools going to give me a waiver that says I can take my son to the school of choice that I want to take him to if you shut down the school? You know, I just want you guys to think about it in your perspective, think about it in my perspective, in the other gentleman's perspective who have special needs children, who this may be their only way of education. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the third person is, I think it's Rebecca. All right.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Riggs, and I'm a former employee at the Virtual Academy. I wanted to kind of concur what the previous gentleman said about our school, and that it is a very special place. And even though it kind of started off as an answer to COVID, I think the staff that is still there behind me will tell you that it's so much more. I don't think people realize the unique and innovative way that we teach. It's not something that every virtual academy does, and I think that's something that needs to be said, because even if students are forced to go to another virtual academy, they're not going to get the same one-on-one attention and time that they do at Virtual Academy at Randolph. They're not going to get the engaging lessons. A lot of times it's just the online modules, and you don't see a teacher, and you don't see friends. And that's what a lot of our kids really need, especially kids who would otherwise have chosen homeschooling. They chose to come into Randolph County schools instead, because they knew that they would get to see friends, and they would get to have in-person field trips and different engaging nights that we've had. And we recognize that the virtual setting is not for everyone, just like the gentleman before me said, that they have chosen to be here now, not just because of COVID, but because they want to be there. And I know it's not a huge number, especially when you look at 32 schools in Randolph County, but I think that we should let these kids know that they matter as well. And like we said before, they weren't given time to put another option in front of them. And if they wanted to be in in-person schools, they would be. Because there are some who can be in in-person schools, but there are some also who cannot. They physically cannot be, and we have a lot of those. We've seen so many students who, if you look back at their records, they were drowning in the school that they were at before. They were getting lost. But then they came here, and now they're thriving. And you had some examples, a lot of our students who have gotten the Star 3 awards today, they wouldn't have gotten that at their other schools, because they did not have the resources and the individual attention that they get at Virtual Academy. So yes, we have smaller class sizes, but that's for a reason. That's because our kids need that one-on-one attention, and they need those special things, because most of our kids will not be able to thrive in an in-person school. And I want to say that I'm here because even though I'm not a teacher there anymore, I want to show all my former students that we have to stand up for what we believe in and stand up for what's right. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our public comments. So at this time, we'll move on to, I ask for, we have no other public comments for the regular monthly board meeting either. So at this time, I would ask for an adoption of our meeting agenda.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Opposed?
Okay. This time we're going to move to information items regarding gaming.
Okay, board members, I have a gift tonight, looking for it right now. I'm going to present a gift to Southmont Elementary School tonight on April 7th. Paula LaPlante made me aware of a gift given to her school by Scott Martin in the amount of $200. It was designated for the school's Teresa's Book Fund, and that fund is used to purchase reading materials for the school's media center. And I accepted this gift on April 7th. And it's an information item tonight because it is $5,000 or less per board policy 8220. So any questions about that gift? We appreciate all the people who continue to support our school system and gifts. We bring multiple gifts, seems like every month. And then I guess Larry Chappell, Dr. Chappell over here? No other questions, I will turn it over to Larry Chappell for our grants, donor choose grants.
Good evening, board members. So good to see you, and I enjoy coming each month and sharing grants. And this month, we have seven grants. Actually, it's about 9. One of them is combined, so more than normal, and that's a great problem to have. We've got these funds coming in. They're all donors choose grants, and some schools have multiple grants. So start out with, per policy 8220, grants of $5,000 or less, bring it to you as an informational item. Each one of these are under $5,000. Our first one is from Providence Grove High School. It's a donors choose grant, $556.05 on May the 6th. And this grant will be used to purchase books for the Battle of the Books team. And Rebecca Brady, the media specialist, is responsible for this grant. The next 3 grants come from Ranneman High School. And so Ranneman High School received a donors choose grant amount of $697.52 on March the 25th. And this grant will be used for subscription to Mathnetic. And that is a resource for AP statistics class, and Mr. Jeff LaRue, math teacher, was responsible for submitting that grant. Mr. LaRue also submitted a second grant from Ranneman High School. It's a donors choose grant, and it was in the amount of $536.76. It was on May the 6th, and the grant will be used to purchase hands-on project supplies, a bookcase, and some storage containers for those supplies for his math class. If you have any questions, certainly I'll be happy to answer each one of them. The next grant, again, the third from Ranneman High School, was a donors choose grant of $664.73 on May the 6th. They received that, and it was to purchase supplemental books and a storage cabinet, class supplies for ESL classroom. And Allison McNamara, the ESL teacher, was responsible for submitting that request. We'll move on to Southeastern Randolph Middle School, who received 2 grants this time, and their donors choose grants. The first one is $253.69 on March the 29th. The grant was to use to purchase and start a multilingual library, the ESL classroom. Luciana Folletti, the ESL teacher, was responsible for submitting that grant. She said she had so much success, she did a second grant. And she was really excited about that, and we are for her as well in Southeast. It was another donors choose grant in the amount of $385.41 on April the 8th. It will also be used to purchase additional supplemental books and some seating cushions in a storage area, contained cabinet, to support the multilingual library for the ESL classroom. And Luciana Folletti also had submitted that grant. Our last one for the evening comes from Trinity High School, and they received 3 donors choose grants. And we've combined them; they're all for the same items, and it was for $1,697 on April the 10th. And these grants provide supplemental text for the North Carolina Holocaust curriculum. And Renee DeHart, English teacher, was responsible for submitting that grant. And that is all of the grants that we have for this month. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much.
Okay, Mr. Brinkley?
Good evening, board members. The community eligibility program eligibility provision, CEP, for National School Lunch Program, provides our families the opportunity to have free breakfast and free lunch at our schools, and those sites are listed in the memo. Kelly Green and her staff, they implemented these sites last year. We actually have had CEP at Ramsey Elementary for several years. With the changes that came in place last year, we added these additional sites. We're keeping these same sites again for this coming school year. Jeff Howard and his staff, they went through all the numbers and the percentages, and we're able to continue to maintain these sites. We've actually had an increase in participation at most of these school sites due to the free breakfast and free lunch being offered. And we just wanted to share this information with you, and we're excited to continue this program for the 25-26 school year. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. And I did want to say that this is in place at all our elementary schools, all our middle schools, Yard Ridge, and Eastern Grand Island.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Dale.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, board members. Tonight I bring to you the monthly reporting of any contract that's $50,000 or more. This month we have one, it's Go Energies LLC, and that's for our transportation department for fuel and diesel in the amount of $160,000.
Thanks, Marty. At this time, I need a motion to approve the consent items. Have a second. You want a second?
Hold on a second. A second.
You second?
I second, yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
All right, at this time, we're gonna, so was that 1, 2, 61, 5. At this time, we're gonna move to the action items with Dr. Gaines.
Okay, first action item we have up is the consideration of the closure of the virtual academy at Randolph. And board members want to just mention, it has been mentioned before, we can't control what the other virtual options do or don't do with accepting children, but what we will do, if a parent has a question, we will try to, if they will call the main number at 336-633-5000. Again, that's the main number in the office. Tammy Laguerre, Executive Director of Curriculum Instruction, and Sheena Creech, Executive Director of Curriculum Instruction, they both do that job together. We'll try to get information. Again, we can't control what schools, I know there was a comment tonight about schools being full. The North Carolina Cyber Academy, our number of students has literally changed over the last 3 years. The kids who were assigned to our school system have chosen that. I think it's gone from 28 to 25, this year it's 27. And last time I looked, there's another virtual charter that the state has, which is North Carolina Virtual Academy. And our numbers have gone from 24 to 18 down to back up to 27. So I've seen some fluctuation, board members, on that. Those are the two virtual charters that the state has. As I mentioned back on April 7th, when a child is assigned to our school system and goes to any charter school, we lose $1,541 in local money per child this year. And it's the same amount whether it's a virtual or a regular charter. Prior to last year, it was only $7.90 when they went to a virtual charter. So we do, in essence, pay for seats there. There also is North Carolina Virtual Public School, which is not a degree, it cannot grant you a high school diploma, but it's for grades 6 through 12. And again, we contribute financially to that as well. The state of North Carolina pulls 3.5 teacher positions from us. That's been about the same number every year. It's based on the number of our kids who use that virtual public school.
So is the virtual looked at the same as like a charter school? Is that what you're saying if somebody was to leave and go, so if they went to Winston virtual or to Cabarrus where they have virtuals, then that money would just go to those
Yes.
children? Okay.
But there's only 2 virtual charters that are sponsored by the state, which is North Carolina Cyber
Right.
Academy and North Carolina Virtual Academy.
Right,
So-
and the other ones are those that you have?
Those
to
are
pay?
private. We have another virtual one that popped up this year. 21 of our kids are in Hind Springs Preparatory Virtual Academy. These are numbers from mid-year when we did that research. Because we get the bills, we get monthly bills of our children. We have 1,306 students by mid-year that are at UARI charter.
Right,
So we get the bill, we get the names, but we have to check off whether we should still be sending, in this year's case, $1,541. So I will say that. I know that doesn't make people I understand. I do understand there are special situations, and board members, what we will do as a staff is if people, we will get the information to them if people call and have questions. Again, that number is 336-633-5000. But we wouldn't have any more control over somebody getting a seat than if somebody was trying to come to us on a release from another school system. What was mentioned in one of the comments tonight was a waiver to go to another school system, or waiver to go to another school, I guess it was. The students that are in the virtual academy, if the virtual academy was closed here, those students will be reassigned to the school that's aligned with their address. They would have opportunities for student reassignment opportunities. They would do that. They also would have opportunities to, if they chose to try to be released from our school system, we would grant those opportunities as well. So even though we have closed some of that process for next year, I think it was something we well could do within this group of students. Understanding that if a student goes to a school that is not aligned with their address, they have to provide transportation.
So are you saying like the students that go to our virtual academy, stay at like 1,500?
When we lose a child to a charter school, whether it's a virtual charter or, no, state doesn't give us that.
I mean, we lose like the kids going to our charter till we get 1,500, is
We
that?
lose $1,541 in local money per child for every child that goes to UARI, or if a child goes to
But
any
we
other.
don't lose anything when they go to our virtual, is that right?
No, because they're our children.
They're our children. So if you lose 50-some kids, you lose, what, like 84,000? Is that correct? Does the state pick up, I know the principal salary, if you don't have a certain number, state does not pick that up. Does the state pick up teachers at that school, or what percentage, or?
Teachers are based on number of students at school. So teachers are just allotted based on numbers of kids. But in this case, just like we ran into at UARI Middle School years ago, when UARI Middle School became such a small school, we were having to make like the elective wheel work, because you have to have everything on the elective wheel. The numbers per teacher were very small, and in this case, you can't have X number of kids at grade levels, and you've got to provide grade level instruction. So you're gonna have, I think the number I gave was if you take the classroom teachers and you divide the number of students just as a whole, you equate to, there's 9 classroom teachers, 106 students, that equates to 11.78 students per teacher, and it's not even, might not even be that much, because it could be by grade level, it could be different.
but are most of the kids at the virtual academy in the Archdale Trinity area, or are they kind of all over?
They're all over.
15 of the 17 of them.
So like the whole point of like it being where it's centrally located right now is really just
kind of a moot point, we just have it there because we had the building available, is that kind of how we looked at it?
So if you look at, on page 6 of the report, it shows where they're from. There's 10 from Randall Middle, 4 from Northeast Middle, 6 from Southeast Middle, 2 from Southwest Middle, 6 from Trinity Middle, Roy Ridge 612, 5, 10 from Wheatmore Middle. Then you come down to elementaries, 7 from Hopewell, 6 from Ramsey, 6 from Randall Elementary, 5 at Grace Chapel. And then you have, of the 106 over there as of March 26th this year, 10 of those students are from Asheboro City that have been released from Asheboro City and admitted into our school system.
So bottom line, we have 7 middle schools. There's students from every single middle school there. And there's 17 elementary schools with 15 of the 17, it's like. So is there any, yeah, so is it 17 schools, is it right, 17 elementary schools?
17 elementary.
Yeah, so, is there any, I mean, is there any viable alternative? I mean, as far as
Like, I'm just
clothes
thinking outside the
or
box.
is there anything?
That's why the state, I'm gonna assume that's why the state has left their 2 virtual charters open all this time, because they've been open for multiple years now.
Yeah.
Well, like, I know we've looked at URI Ridge 6 through 12, and like that, we're kind of doing that as an alternate kind of universe with the middle school and the high school. You know, I don't know, I just wonder if there's some way we can kind of, you know, I don't know that the high school is necessarily making us all we need. Could this be a K through 8 hybrid situation at URI Ridge where we have the virtual academy in that facility, and then you've got K through 8? I mean, again, I'm just talking out loud because that's what I do, but,
The virtual academy
you
is
know,
a school
but
in
it's
itself.
a school within itself, but then you have a K through 8 because you've got those resources there, and then that allows those
Well,
kids.
you
And
can
you're only
do
really
that.
displacing your high school kids, which is, what, 130 kids to go to Southwest.
You can do that, if you assign a school to a principal, you're gonna have to adjust that principal's
I know, and they're probably,
salary.
like, anybody who's
And-
watching probably wants to bite my head off right now. for
Well,
saying
I
that out
mean, the
loud,
other
but-
piece, one parent mentioned the financial piece. We're facing some huge budget cuts, and we spend almost 1.3 million on this school alone. We
Right,
have seats throughout the school system, and I understand, so if the board would like us to go that direction, but just know that we're gonna have to cut, we're gonna have to go some other ways and cut, because we are facing pretty large budget cuts from the state, so.
okay. Like I said, I was just
One
talking out loud.
one of the questions that I've asked, I know we talked on the phone a few times, that I wrestle with is, you're already at a school like Tabernacle. I don't understand, Tabernacle's not that crowded, I just don't understand why you can't work it in where, I mean, the principal at Tabernacle could look out for that virtual, like maybe that responsibility, you know, then that cuts off the principal's salary. I can't, I mean, I'll be honest with you. 2 years ago, when we talked about doing this, I probably wrestled with it as much as anybody. Because when I took this job, or whatever, on this board, I always said that, and I'm not gonna change that for anybody, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't sleep at night if I do it. I was always the voice, wanted to be considered a voice for those that didn't have a voice. And, I mean, I know it's 50-some kids or whatever, but a lot of those kids can't go to the public school. It wouldn't work. And the sign is correct back here, and I feel really, really hard. It's just tough for me. I understand, and I understand the money, I understand financial situations, you know. I believe those in my life too. But it's hard for me to sacrifice kids that may not stand another chance. Those people, some of those people that do it at home, do it virtual, you know, every kid deserves a right to come to the school, public school. I mean, you deserve that right. Well, some of those that don't fit in, I mean, if they come to public school, I mean, it would be, some would be tough. You may have to hire 1-on-1, 2-on-1. I mean, I don't know what the situations are, but there's a part of me that does admire the people that it takes work on them to do it all. It takes a lot of love, it takes a lot of effort from those families, because they're not putting them on the school system. They're not sending them when they may not, well, you know what, that might not be the right thing for them, but it'll get them away from me for 8 hours a day. But those people are doing it and they love them at home. That's where I wrestle with it. I mean, you know what? I may not be the popular thing I'm saying, but I struggle with the fact that I still look at that sign and you know what? I signed on to be that voice. I may take everybody off in this room, but that's a tough call for me. I'm just sorry. That's the way it is.
If we integrated a virtual academy within a school, that's something that would still require what we've got to be closed in order to integrate it, because it's that school's a standalone school right now.
You can't, I mean, you're gonna have to close the school, because we didn't do what other school systems did. Other school systems did programs inside of schools, and we did it with a school number way back when. We applied for a school number, so in my interpretation of the law, you can't just, I mean, if you leave the school open, and if you don't close the school's just gonna stand open, it's gonna be a school number, and whatever ramifications come from the state. If you choose to change this to a program inside of school, then we would have to, I still think you can ask your attorney.
Yeah, no, you would still need
Close the
to
school.
close this school, and then start a program in another school. Now, I mean, you could start a program, not close this school, assign all the students to the program. I think some of it's dishonest.
Yeah. Yeah, I think technically
So,
you gotta close.
Dr., you know, the numbers actually, it was, I said 7 of the 7 middle schools and 15 of the 7 elementary schools. Those were last year's, this year's current numbers. So as far as for the 48, 50 kids that are enrolled now, do we have that?
The number as of May 12 has gone up 15 since April 7th. The number as of May 12 that I received from the principal was 63 now.
So do we have a
So,
breakdown
you know,
of
if
those
you start with the program, I think I'll be quite honest with you, you're gonna have to limit, I would recommend, you can do whatever you wish as a board and we'll respond, but, if you make it a program, then I would strongly suggest there be a limit to the program, because otherwise you're just taking this 1.3 million that we're spending right now and moving it to a program, minus the principal salary and, but some of that's gonna get eaten up, because quite frankly, you know, we've got principals watch this as a separate school, so whichever principal you hand that to is probably gonna, I don't know, I mean, that's tough too, but I'll leave that, we'll do whatever the board's desire is. At this point, all we've been working to is whether the school stay open. But also will tell you, since we started down this path, we also have received notice of another $2.4 million cut to funding for next year that we don't know what the status of that is, other than we've been told to prepare for that as well. So, and you're right now, like I say, averaging just shy of 12 kids per teacher at Virtual Academy. And so you can say that doesn't mean every teacher in there has 12 kids. I mean, you could have 3 at first grade and 10 at second grade. So you don't have necessarily 12 per teacher. That's just the average when you divide the enrollment as of whatever that was March 26. When you divide that enrollment by 9 classroom teachers, you also have a music teacher, a PE teacher there, an EC teacher, because when we opened this, I think we opened it right. I mean, I'm biased. We opened it with a school number. We opened it where it was open for everybody. And we staff it that way. We have a ECTA, a regular TA on staff. We have a principal, treasurer, 9 classroom teachers, 1 PE teacher, 1 music teacher, 1 EC teacher, 1 ECTA, and 1 regular ed TA. So, and the school has earned Title I monies this year.
If you went with the program, you wouldn't have to have quite all those positions, would you?
You're probably gonna need the teacher positions.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
the
You're gonna
teachers.
need the teacher positions.
Right, but you wouldn't have to have all those.
There's really, if you're gonna do that, I'm not really sure what, I mean.
I'm
you're-
just asking a question.
Yeah, you're not, if you're gonna go as a program, you'll probably need everything short of a principal and a treasurer, look down there. So that's right at $200,000 you're saving.
Yeah, I've always been surprised that the numbers didn't grow in that school.
Almost did.
I mean, it shocks me, and then,
I think we all thought it would grow.
I
We
mean,
all thought.
then someone told me that it only, like, I've noticed in the past 2 years where, you know, my argument the first time was we did a poor job of advertising it and putting it out there, and the school's done a terrific job in the last couple of years.
Yeah, trying to
They
recruit.
share social media, I mean, they do a great job, better than any school in Randolph County, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And, that, I guess I was made aware that no one really sees that except the people that's on the Randolph County site, you know, so I guess the point, so I don't know if it really gets out where people, I don't know, maybe we failed it, but I would, I don't know, add some certain things or something, you know, we have the virtual, but I don't know. It still seems like we're
What
coming
kind of a
short.
wait list is it for the North Carolina virtual academies? I mean, you know,
Oh,
is
they
there ever a
are.
drawing card to try to reach any of those folks for bringing them into our virtual academy? I mean, I don't, If there's that big of a wait
To say, that people outside haven't seen it, 10 people in there this year from Ashburn City.
yeah.
And next year, the enrollment already for next year, I think it's 2 are from Guilford, 2 or 3, and multiple from Ashburn City. So, you know, I don't know,
I mean, I don't know the reason
there's
either.
Sure.
I mean,
3 and 2 from Ashburn already enrolled as of April 7, and 3 from Guilford County. So, you know, I don't know, Ms. Whitaker, I think that, I don't, to me, to call them, I mean, those kids were our kids and were our addresses, and they've left.
Yeah,
To go there, like I say, there's 27 in the virtual North Carolina Cyber Academy and 27 in North Carolina Virtual Academy. I guess I'm just not gonna get into the ballgame
Right.
that we've got 1306 kids down the street, and there's many different renditions of how they wound up down there, and I'm just, you know,
yeah.
I don't know that that's, I wouldn't know how to do that other than call all 27 kids and how we get all that information.
Again, how does it grow from 43 students as of March 31st to 63 as of May 12th?
It was 48.
I was just adding those numbers, so plus
Because you're missing the 5 from outside.
All right, 15 students in a month and a half.
Well, we've had
Toward the
that.
end of a school year.
We've had that. 2 years ago, we had the same discussion. The numbers were way low, and then in a month time or so, they got up to 100, if I remember right. That was 2 years ago, and 2 years ago, the board's charge was, let's leave it open, let's advertise it more, let's see what we get. So, you see right out of the chute, second year, once COVID started kind of going north, and I get there was 4 reasons. I've been surprised in my time here. When we started I-Learn Randolph, I thought we might get some, just to be quite frank, I thought I-Learn Randolph might bring some homeschool students back to us. It did not. That was our own internal online programs where our teachers wrote the courses themselves. And so these are 2 things that have shocked me, to be honest. We jump out of the gate in 2021-22, we have 168 kids, and then the end of year, or start of year 2, it's already under 100. And that's one of the statements, 3 of the 4 things were really COVID-driven for while we opened this academy. And, yeah, the 4th one to the person who spoke tonight, when I spoke, and said, the part where I said it's aligned with their interests and learning styles. You know, I thought we might get some students back, that this might be the answer, and I'm not saying it wasn't for some students, but I really have been shocked that the numbers didn't stay up there with where we were at the time, and school choice and everything else going on throughout the country and throughout the state. So, you know, the last time we talked about it was April 7th, and it jumped 15 kids. So,
How many were there this year?
89 on day 1 of school.
Huh?
89 on the first day of school. And the 15th of February, we're at 104. And 106, March 31, I think is the number. March 26, it was 106.
I'm just wondering, is this a normal pattern for them to be 63 at this time of year? And does it jump,
well,
like,
the thing that's
people wait to the
normal
last minute to sign up for things? I know kindergartners, you may have, in some of our schools, show up 18 or 20, but you have 30 when you start in August. I'm just curious. I'm just,
Well, we started this year on day 1 with 89. So the last 3 years, first day of school has been 98, 103, and 89.
Oh, you're saying there's 63 in there now?
Signed up for next year.
Oh, signed up for next year.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, there were 106 on March 26th of this year that are currently there. But the state looks at our day 1 through 20, day 21 through 40, and that's where they set our funding at. So we weren't at 100 when they set that. And that's just how that's how they've always set funding.
So, and I understand you're not really give an exact picture, but if there was a program to, without, I know what Phil says, if there's a program, still got to close the school, you know, just close the school to open the program. But if there is a program, in your best, you know, I'm not going to say a perfect world because that's not what we're dealing with, but in your best judgment, what would that look like as far as, I mean, can you, you know, well, as far as, with all due respect, I'm more worried about the ones in Randolph County than I am Asheville City or Guilford right now, even though I certainly would feel for them too, but obviously the ones that we're certainly charged to take care of are the ones in Randolph. But what could that look like as far as a program? I mean, can you have, I was, you know, I read a little bit about some other schools around the state as far as their virtual academies, that when you read about it, it doesn't even sound like much of a virtual academy. It's that they kind of check in online, then they go do the work, you know, themselves. And they kind of check in at the end of the day, kind of question. So there's not a whole lot of teaching going on, you know, between the student and the teacher. I don't think that's what we had here with the Randolph County Virtual Academy. But I'm saying in other school systems around the state, they have something like that. So, so just I guess, you know, long question to ask, what is, you know, what could a program, some kind of special program where you can still keep kids virtual, but, you know, in some other capacity? What would that look like?
Well, this is exactly why we brought this back to you. We brought it to you 2 years ago because as superintendent, when we started school below 100, if I was a board member and the superintendent didn't make me aware of that and we kept it open the 3rd year, I would have been furious as a board member that the superintendent hadn't shared that. So the question is, if you make it a program, I think what we know it as, these teachers out here know it as, I don't think what you're describing sounds more like someone bought a canned curriculum and somebody engaged in it, and that's not what they've been doing.
Right.
When you go in that school, they're at their computers, so I'm gonna brag on them now, because they're probably not happy with me because it's discussion, but I'm gonna brag on them. Because I've read their classes, now I read from my office, first time I read in Justine's office, I didn't really like that, so I just read remotely from mine. I mean, it was okay, but nothing against Justine, but I was more comfortable in my chair since they weren't there and I wasn't there, so Everybody's got headsets on, their computer monitors, they're working, they have planning like other teachers do. He's got them organized in different areas. I just don't know how we would do any different if we did a program, so if you ask me how it looks, I think to make it go, you may be able to get by with maybe one less, or maybe two less classroom teachers, it's just a matter where the kids fall, because I've never seen a teacher here asked to teach a combination class that had more than 2 grade levels. I think that's incredibly difficult. And quite frankly, if someone's doing that, I think that's more to say we're doing it than we are effective. But I'm not going to be critical of the school system out there that's hearing that, because they're probably getting ready to write me an email. I don't know how it can be done, but you know I don't know how we would do it without. That's what I was saying earlier. If you did a program, I think you'd be hard pressed to not use about the same staffing structure minus the principal and minus the treasurer. But I also think that we obviously would have a new principal, because Justine has moved to the market, and a new principal, if the school stays open like it is, but you know, again, I just don't know how you're going to organize differently unless. And somebody said, well, Yanni, go ahead and buy the curriculum and do it differently. That's not what these parents were describing. You weren't describing, these parents weren't, I'm not trying to pull you into the conversation. They weren't describing their kid engages and just locks in and they go. They're interacting with teachers. The kids are up there. I've seen them. They're up there when I read to them. There's the screen and there's their, I don't know what you call it. I call it little, I don't even want to call it picture. I guess it's cells or whatever. I always think they're where they are on my screen, and I realize that's not right. But I'm not big on Google Meets or all that. But I don't know how we would do it differently. It's what teachers are used to. I think there's got to be an interaction between the teacher and the student, like there has been. I've been to their award ceremonies. That's another thing the board charges with doing more in-person things, and Justine has done that as much as she possibly could, other than bringing the kids to school every day. I mean, and that was part of the deal, right, Justine? We've had excursions, we've had test dates, and excursions, I mean that in a positive way, Justine. Guess we can call them field trips, right? We've had the awards days. I've been to their awards days where the little boy got recognized today. I watched him the last 2 or 3 years, Tristan. I mean, when I saw his name pop up, I've seen this in action. So I think you're at a point, board, whether you call it a program or a school, you're at a point of, I don't know how much different we can do it as a program than we're doing it now, and get the people who are involved to believe in it. Because if we turn around and start, and here's the other piece, those canned curriculums are not cheap. They're not cheap. In fact, we were engaged in one of those the first year, Justine, remember that? And we were lucky we had extra money to use that to purchase that. I can't remember where it came, what was it?
And I'm not necessarily saying canned curriculum. That's why I was
We're
asking you,
just
what
trying to
can,
see
you
how
know,
can we
what
take
can.
what we've got and put it in-house, more so.
I will
for the
say
program.
that I agree with Dr. Gainey in the sense that you need teachers to just teach that, because
Yeah.
Can't give them
my
more
wife
to
was
their
kindergarten
understanding.
first grade. And that year of COVID, when she was trying to teach online and in class at the same time, was a nightmare. I don't know, I mean, it drove her crazy. I honestly don't know how much the kids got out of it, because you, like I said, you were interacting with a computer screen, you were interacting with live kids, so, you know, I don't know what the answer is to that.
But that's exactly why, that is probably the primary reason this all started.
Right.
This goes after 1 year with COVID, 2021. As the report says, I was very worried the legislature was going to make a ruling that we had to have a virtual option for everybody, which we had. In that report, it shows we had iLearn, CCB, virtual public school, what's the third one? Anyways, it's in there. We could make a virtual schedule to get the high school kids through the pandemic, but that was the very reason why, the primary reason this thing started, was because, so the high schools had North Carolina Virtual Public, Career and College Promise, iLearn and Apex, so that's the one I was thinking, Apex. But we had nothing for K-8, and as superintendent, I was very concerned that if we did another turnaround 21, 22, teachers teaching both ways, I didn't know what would happen to our teacher board either. And turned out the state did not make the ruling. A lot of people went that direction. We were scared that if we waited to the end of the budget session, or the legislative session, and got told to do something, it would be too late. That's why we started down this process in spring of 21.
So is it, I know people get mad at me too, but is it absolutely just asking, is it too much to demand on teacher to say, hey, we're having one teacher K2, 1, 4 through 3, 5, and one in middle school? Is that just outrageous to ask a teacher to do that? I mean, as far as to try to find a teacher to do that?
You're saying virtually.
Virtually, yeah, I'm saying K2 virtually, 3, 5, and a middle school teacher. We don't have to have a principal, so, you know, that we don't have to worry about the state requirements on that. I mean,
That's a teacher question.
I know it's a teacher question. She's the only teacher in the room here, but she didn't teach virtually, so, I don't know, like I said,
I think it would be mighty. I think you're stretching them, you know, that's just my opinion. I think you're stretching teachers tremendously when you do a combo class. And we try to limit combos as much as we can, but they're becoming more prevalent as we're getting. Yeah, and you're not just dealing with the teacher's knowledge of 3 and 4 grade levels, you're also dealing with making sure you're giving the appropriate attention to the students' needs. And I know people would be trying, that's not the issue. What I've been concerned about all along was doing this the best we could, as much like schools we could, but virtually, because we have a responsibility to instruction, and I wasn't willing to put a name on a school and a sign on a school, walk away and say, hey, look what we've done. And
So we still do some combo classes in elementary though, don't we? I mean,
Yeah.
so we have combo, they're doing it. So, I mean, you got, okay, I'm just
And
thinking
those
outside,
teachers don't
this is
get a
what I'm
break
thinking
either.
right
They
now, may
still
not be
got
proper to say
20,
what I'm
30 kids
saying.
in a room too.
To me, it would look like it would be simpler to go K through 3 virtual, and one, 2 combo, or whatever you do, with 15 or 16 kids, and 2 of them disrupting the whole class when the teacher can't concentrate on any kids are. That's, looks to me like it'd be simpler. I don't know.
You still got state requirements for classroom size in elementary. Still got to consider.
yeah, I don't think we've come anywhere close to that, but we still have to be mindful of that.
but we haven't had a problem with too many kids in the student, in the class, in the schools.
We haven't come close to that issue.
What does it cost us, like, local money to do the virtual school, like this past year, any idea?
Well, the total cost of the school,
I mean, the 1.4, is that
1.3
right?
includes-
Is that a year,
yes,
every year?
because that's salaries.
Local money?
That's, well, it's local, and it can be local or state, because, next year, the principal position will be all local. We've already been identified that it's very likely the state's not gonna pick it up because they blocked us in numbers. They fund us in arrears now, so if we don't wait till the 40th day to get to our number, and then they either pull back. They started just last year saying, what you had last fall is what you're getting next year. So, principal salary would kick over to local money. It was on, ESSER and, local this year, Mark.
So the 100 won't be the magic number anymore?
No, we've already been told that unless something changes. So the classroom teachers, you can't split it out local and state so much, because we're gonna put as much on state as we can, but, EC, I'm just looking here, the iLearn may appear, the iLearn 19,000 we spent on iLearn there may be local. There's Title I money, there's $70,000 of Title I money at the school. you know, the best I can tell you is the overall cost is 1.271 million for the costs to operate it, and how it washes out. We don't have any locally paid teachers. We have teachers on low wealth money, which is a state fund, which is very flexible how we use it, but we don't have any locally paid teachers. So it's not, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't, the way it was, you can move people off low wealth to the positions. So really, the key is what's the cost of the school is 1.271 million. It's the best estimate we can give you, and that's looking at positions, what we spend on our learning Title I money.
So when does this have to be done? Definitely tonight, or is it no other options we can look at, or that you think, or any outside the box that you've heard tonight, like any other that we haven't discussed, or any options that might could be?
Well, I'm just gonna tell you, personally, I think my staff needs some direction, because we're gonna get out of school here, and school's gonna be starting again, and this is not, this is what we started planning this back in January. I think we first started the planning of it in January, the year it opened in August, so that would be my personal preference. We certainly can do whatever, but,
We probably should have told these people, if you didn't know, we may have told them in January that, look, this may not work out. But I don't know. I know you can't because you don't know before that happens, but it's last minute. Any more questions or discussion? Go ahead, anybody?
I don't know, I mean, it's, yeah, and I know when I hear somebody say, you can't put a price on the student, on the education, all that kind of stuff, and we all agree with that. I mean, we also know that, I mean, it is, the numbers are trending down. It's like, okay, so at what point do we, make that decision? And I hate that, this is not going to be received well because but I guess, and maybe I shouldn't say this before, it's for maybe a little bit uninformed or uneducated position there. I feel like, especially the people who spoke here and some of the ones who have sent us some emails, things like that. It's all a unique situation to have a student with some autism or a student with some kind of issue, and these students certainly need an advocate, and I know that everybody on this board would like to be an advocate for them. I guess, I don't know how to say it other than just ask it. It's like, of the 106 students we have like that, or most of the students, as far as like an issue like that, or is it, I mean, I know when we first started, it was about COVID and remote that we were, to try, because some people did not want their kid in school as far as in person. Yeah, because they didn't feel safe, and so I guess, a concern I have, I guess, is what percentage of, I don't know how to ask this without sounding like, oh, he's got such a horrible outlook on things, but it's like, what percentage of the students we have here are the ones that have an issue where, like the two gentlemen that spoke here tonight.
What
like
percentage could function in a traditional school versus the ones who can't?
Yeah, that's a better way than what I was thinking. Thank you, Philip.
That was good
Yeah.
work.
And I don't know that we have those numbers or anything, but I mean, that's I do, as far as I know what the whole discussion to begin with and start is closing the school. And I know it's not popular with a lot of people, and as much as I would like to keep the school open, it is just trending down, but I would rather us spend the money in some kind of program where it would be more efficient, or the dollars would be more effective than what we're doing now. So, that's my thoughts. That's not a motion, obviously, but that's my thoughts.
How many eighth graders are moving out this year? Any idea? I mean, my question, if you have like,
It was,
how many eighth
actually,
graders was it?
Was there a
no,
breakdown?
they gave
Well,
us
there was
that.
some that just showed the 8th grade, how many were in. I mean, what schools? All right, on page,
Yeah, we
on page
had those
6, on
numbers.
page 6.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 10, 20, 31, 42. I believe around 40, but now,
So a lot of
yeah,
eighth
that's
graders.
all Randolph County. So you're talking about 40.
So right now, we'll have nine eighth graders next year so far, 11 seventh graders, 13 sixth graders. This as of May 12th, 5 fifth graders, 6 fourth graders. So I've got that number. I don't know how many,
Yeah, that's true. It's not broken down in grades. We don't have a breakdown of how many children are in kindergarten, how many children are in 3rd grade. It's not on this, it's not.
Yeah, we do. March 19, 2025. This is enrollment by grade level.
Yeah.
It was 13 eighth graders, 17, that's too many kids, that's one. It says 13 eighth graders, 17 seventh graders, 16 sixth graders, 17 fifth graders, 9 fourth graders, 11 third graders. So your question is there's 13 eighth graders. As of, looks like Virtual Academy,
So 13 leaving this year, after this year.
yeah.
I guess my question, 106 minus 13 is what, 83 or whatever it is, 93. I'm just
That's what I'm looking at.
curious where the other 30-some kids are going if they're not coming back. I guess my question would be, is this a normal number for this time of year at that school?
Well, it went down. I mean, if you look at the,
I'm thinking it
if you
may
look
be
at
a
the-
normal
what
number.
we have here.
At this point, the numbers are not gonna matter if the state has already allotted our funding for next
I
year.
don't understand how they, so they already,
They're already
That's, they went to a,
so what about
It's
these?
down.
So they don't,
so
like
if
if
you
you
grow,
come,
if you grow, you can get, but
you get it back, can't you?
You can get more, but you can't go backwards. So that's a good thing, but the problem is,
So like you 10 days, 15 days in, you get X amount of numbers, you don't get that money back, or like it used? I mean, like they would allot you another position or something, so they're not
yeah,
give you that rest.
if you grow before wherever they, above what they allowed you for, you'll get that. The beauty is you won't go backwards.
What would it take for you to get the principal salary?
You can't. They've already locked us in. They've already locked us in, and we don't.
We gotta have a hundred.
We'll have to pay for the principal.
Yeah,
They've
we
already
gotta have
locked us
100
in.
students.
That's a nice trick for them, isn't it?
Well, they figured it out. They're not gonna lose money.
That's
on-
right.
on-
They won't get out.
That's your whole problem with public education, they're trying to put us out of business. And you know who pays the price? Kids do.
The kids.
That's exactly who pays the price. You have a bunch of people sitting up there that don't have a clue what they're doing, and they're on an ego trip, and we pay the
Like it or not,
price.
we have to look at money, whether we like it or not, period.
So at this time, do any more discussion? Sharon, do you wanna read the motion? Or is that where we are, or what do you guys wanna do? Anybody else got anything to say?
We're on.
Shannon, I'm gonna poll, anything else?
I've got a couple questions, but I'm not sure if I can ask them now or if I need to wait till closed session.
Well, if they're related to the closure, then you need to ask them now. If they're related to a specific teacher or student, then you don't ask them now.
Well, how binding are the contracts that we have with these students?
They are not binding.
No, it's simply so we could not think we had 63 kids enrolled, and then the first week of school, only have 43 show up. I mean, at some point, we had to have some planning mechanism
Right.
for, that was what that was about.
It's,
commitment.
people don't pay to come to school here, so it's not a binding contract.
Todd, you got anything?
You know, this decision tonight is not a reflection on the virtual academy. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's also gonna affect our students and our buildings across our county also. Because over the next 2 years, there's gonna be some difficult decisions to be made about our school system. It doesn't matter if they're remote or in a school building, there's going to be difficult decisions we will have to make. And this has nothing to do with the families. I'm really sorry that you're having to deal with this tonight and the staff, but this is where we're at. We're having to fight to get dollars from the state because we are in competition with virtual academies. We are in competition with charter schools, homeschooling, hybrid academies, and all it's doing is making our enrollment numbers go down each year. If you look at our enrollment numbers across Randolph County, was around 72% in our schools. That is going to be some hard decisions to make for some of these schools over the next 2 years, unless something changes.
And unfortunately, we have to look at dollars, and that's the sad part.
That's just part of the bad
And
part of
that's
this, the
that's the-
highs tonight about all the
And that's one of the
students,
worst
recognitions
parts
and
about being on
everything
this
like
board is
that.
figuring out what
And
to
this
do.
is lows, this is the low part of our jobs.
Yes, it is.
And I'm sorry, but that's decisions we just have to make sometimes.
And we have a total of how many students in Randolph County Schools?
A little over 15,000.
15,000 kids. Not to mention how many people it takes to work with us, 15,000.
I know it's not something we're voting on tonight, but I would like for us as a board to seriously look at some alternatives to
I
the
thought we
school.
were
As far
voting
as,
tonight.
do what?
I thought we were voting tonight.
No. I'm saying, we're not voting to start some program or something like that. I'm saying, but I really think that we, and it has to be done, it has to be done sooner than later. You know, and if it's nothing gonna be done, then it needs to be announced that nothing's gonna be done. If something's gonna be done, then we can't wait till, July and August to announce stuff like that. But I just think as a board, again, being the advocate for some of those who do not have advocates, I think we need as a board to make a concerted effort, to provide something for all the students.
Out of the ones that we have that are our kids that's going to the virtual academy, would we be willing to give them a waiver to go anywhere in the county other than their home school? I know we said that if we close it, they're gonna be assigned back to their home school. Would that put too big of a stress on other schools if they chose not to go back to their home school?
Why would they not go back to the
Well,
school?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, they would have that option. I don't know why they wouldn't, but if they wanted that option, they could go.
And I know we only heard 2 families, but I don't think, any school was necessarily the option for them, it sounded like, so, but I certainly would have I would never vote against someone going to any other school,
I mean,
yeah.
There's
Again, you
reasons,
get the issue with
there's reasons,
transportation,
if it's not for the reasons that we heard tonight, there's other reasons that a kid may be in that virtual academy, and it may have something to do with their home school.
Yeah.
If they would have the option to go somewhere else.
Well, so your reassignment process, is an individualized, analysis that then can be appealed up to the board. So my suggestion would be that you use that because it works well, people have a way to explain the situations and get to the right place.
I guess my biggest regret is we should have, and I understand why we didn't, but we should have brought this out maybe 3, 4 months, 5 months ago and said, this is what we're gonna have to do simply because of the finances and the other reasons. I know that it would have put possibly teachers, losing teachers in jeopardy, things of that nature, but, you know, we were sitting here with a,
Well, and, 2 years ago, this board was given the recommendation of closing the school, and we voted not to close it. Obviously, that was in January, and, we can all sit around and say, oh, we should have done this earlier, we always let, but, we gotta deal with what we're dealing with now.
Dr. Gaines, when this was open, was it always with kind of the indication that this was gonna be a short term, or was this kind of the goal, was to be a long term? Like this was kind of, like that was why you said it?
We thought the fourth reason might kick in and carry it forward.
Right.
But it was open to start up, mainly to get us through COVID.
Right.
And then, so many, like we said, hybrid and all these other virtuals were opening, so we thought, well, we're a step ahead of the game, and
So
we've got it going, and just nobody would go.
The primary reason was to get us through COVID.
To keep our numbers.
Did I think the fourth reason could play out because of what I was seeing people do?
Right.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance. I also thought years ago, we thought when we started iLearn Randolph, we thought we could pay for online courses cheaper than we were paying per kid to North Carolina Virtual Public School. So we thought we eventually could get out of the virtual public school. There's 3.5 positions they yank from us every year. That has not played out, even though iLearn Randolph has been very successful. We also thought that when we did iLearn Randolph, we thought that we might be able to get some homeschool kids back because of the way our policy reads about being the level of enrollment of homeschool students, and that didn't play out either. So this, everybody wants to talk about school choice.
Right.
Everybody wants to talk about school choice. And so this will be a school choice. iLearn Randolph was a form of school choice. And UR Ridge 612 has been a form of school choice. And, you can talk about it any way you want to, but the numbers haven't led to school choice numbers. Flip side is this school system, not unlike any other public school system in North Carolina, doesn't have a pot of money over here waiting for an experimental program. We scraped every dollar we could to do this program and to do UR Ridge and to do iLearn Randolph. So, I don't know your answer. It could answer it both ways, Ms. Whitaker.
Right.
Did I think the fourth reason might kick in? But the first three reasons were driven by COVID. And yes, I know we had pointed out our motto here, and I agree with that. But also, COVID was such an unusual time. And I didn't like our odds of starting 21, 22 by saying to our K-8 teachers again, just deal with it. I didn't like those odds. Those were the odds that didn't let me sleep well. So that's really, where we were, because to Mr. Lanier's point, yeah, when we started down the road COVID, I thought we could just, on A day, the kids were there, B day, the kids weren't there, we're gonna watch on the computer, and it flipped. And so in 21, 22, a teacher asked me one day, said, when are you gonna come read in my class? And I said, well, I'm just trying to stay out of classes. I don't want to bring something in there. I don't want to have COVID and get the school shut down. She said, well, you could read by Google Meets. And I said, okay. And on the day I did that, it was about November of 2021. I think it's the first time I read to a class. After I got off that call, I realized this isn't your normal. This isn't your normal. Or maybe it was fall 20. Take it back, because that was leading into the 21, 22 opening this. And that's when I realized this turning on the camera and while everybody else is at home, there's kids in person, it's just gonna flip. I realized it wasn't quite as easy. And it was quite difficult for me. So I don't know what the teachers were experiencing in 2021. So anyways, I don't have a real answer for it. I know people weren't happy with me with the recommendation I made. It's not been made at anything at your kid individually or the other parent that was here, or any other child in that school, or any teacher in that school. I can promise you, Stephen Gainey would never do anything to intentionally hurt a student, a teacher, or a parent. You're the three big groups that run this, that make this school system run: staff, students, and the parents. I am charged with being financially responsible with the school system, and when I look up at where we are right now, and I mentioned that earlier, so the parent's right, there is a lot of financial to this, there's a lot of financial in this report. So that's, you know, it's got so many pieces to it, and we were charged 2 years ago to see if we could get it better, and we're at the same place, if not less, 2 years later, and it's not because of Justine's staff and her not trying. They have tried very hard to make this work, and to that I applaud them. I've been in there, it looks like air traffic controllers in those rooms. They've all got their headsets on, they're teaching. I've been in those rooms where the kids start waving to me, I don't want to get in trouble with the teacher, because, I mean, I don't know about all that. So it's real, it is what it is, it's a real setting.
Anybody want to read the motion?
You know, before anybody, because I really do it, and I think, you know, everybody on this board is in agreement with one thing, is that we do need to be an advocate for the students who really need to be in some kind of a virtual setting. And I don't think I even need to say it, but I hope everybody on this board will make it a priority over the next couple of weeks. Yeah, with that being said, as much as I hate, I feel, I move that the board close the virtual academy at Randolph on grounds that, in judgment and discretion, that the closure will better serve the educational interests of the Randolph County school system as a whole.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
You raise your hands, all those in favor. Those against, raise your hand. Can't do it. So we have a tie.
So the motion does not carry if you have the tie.
Say that again.
The motion does not carry if you have the tie.
So what do you do next? Do you wait till you bring it
That's
back
up to
next
you
month?
all. You know, the motion
I mean,
can
I
be
don't-
brought again at any time.
I don't want to drag out the inevitable, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I just feel like the virtual academy has been such a great program. There's been no complaints, there's been nothing, I mean, everybody's done all the right things.
You know, my biggest thing, and I know it's not, I know it's the money, I understand that, I know it's a business, and I may disappoint a lot of people. But I couldn't, for me, I couldn't sleep at night. You know how, and if anybody knows me at all, I got a soft spot. And I would be beaten. I'm just, you may not always be right, but I always said that if I couldn't follow my heart a little bit, I don't need this job. And I have to do that tonight. You're mad at me, I mean, I hate it, but that's just how I roll. And if I didn't do what, be a voice for some of the people, or try to be, I wouldn't be in the right place. And, I mean, I gotta go home tonight, and I gotta lay down, I gotta sleep. And I couldn't, hearing them, but I mean, I've been thinking about this for a month. And you know, I've talked to 50 people, 75 people, you know, trying to get peace. And I just had trouble getting peace. So, that being said, I have no idea where we go next, Elizabeth. I guess we need,
Well,
we got a program.
all six of us, no matter which way we vote, all have heart for students.
That's right.
Most definitely, yeah.
And we would have spent the time discussing it. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, everybody here cares about these kids.
Absolutely.
And I hope that we learn something on this, like, we need to look at something if we can.
Well, and, but we can't do anything else tonight, but then if there's a tie, there's nothing we can do about it right now, then unless, I I don't think anybody's changing their vote on another motion.
Well, I'm gonna ask the board, since the school did not close, then I'm gonna ask the board for permission to post the principal position tomorrow. Because to post the principal position, you have not closed the school, so we have to have a principal for the school, so.
And there's no option with that principal that's there to add some, I mean, I
That's
don't
not-
understand that.
Well, we have to post
I
the
mean,
position.
we've already
That's not
treated-
what-
yeah.
Yeah,
That's not what
yeah.
Not the way you
we
can-
talked about earlier. If it's gonna be a program inside a school, you've got to close the school, it's there. Forget money now, the board's speaking that the board wants it to continue on as an option for the kids as it is, because it's gonna have to, we might get lucky and it'll be 7 classroom teachers and, well, hopefully with 63 kids. But again, I think the board, if you make it into a program, you're gonna have to have some kind of limit, because it's, we got 63 kids in there, but can we wake up one day and have 20 more?
Yeah.
Limit on the high end, on the low
So,
end.
yeah, limit on the high end, but, basically, if it's not gonna close, then we need to start working on getting a principal in that seat, because, we owe it to the school, it's got a school number, and we owe it to the school to get a principal. That's what I'm saying, is the board fine with me posting the principal position tomorrow, because I don't wanna wait until July, if we can help it, by not naming a principal. We need to get a principal in place, because, Justine is, principal at New Market, and, I'm happy for that opportunity. Very happy for that opportunity for her, she'll do well there. She's done well where she's at the virtual, and it's, but we need to go ahead and get somebody in that position.
So, Mike, okay. So if we go about it this way, what is the alternative? I mean, obviously then are we looking at cutting, like she just said, more
Yeah.
teachers sitting in
More programs
classrooms
and
or
regulars.
programs in full classrooms, or cutting, is that where we're heading?
You gotta come up with that money. So that's what you're gonna have to do.
What do you mean,
Like,
system-wide?
yeah,
Yeah.
system-wide.
Well, we'll just go back to the drawing board, because, this will be, a chunk of the cut that won't happen. So we'll have to go back and, I'm not gonna begin to throw out possibilities, that's not fair to anybody.
Right.
And it's not fair to the parents from Virtual Academy or staff from Virtual Academy. The board voted to keep Virtual Academy, we're gonna get behind it, we're gonna do what we can. I just wanna make sure before you see a posting of the principal tomorrow, that I don't want that to shock you, because I'm gonna post it tomorrow morning, because, that's what I don't want is, but if that's gonna be, if we're gonna keep it, then, now if it stays in school, I wouldn't recommend you saying a limit on it, because if you limit it as a school, we'll never ever get to the 100 that we need for state pay.
Yeah.
So I'd say that if we ever switch to a program in future years, I think my recommendation to the board would be, you want to put a limit on that, maybe 70 kids, whatever, I don't know, but we can talk about that at some point. But since it's going to stay as a school, I think we need to post a position and roll forward. And
If
You don't think we
if we done it as a program, could we break up the program to K-5 and put that in elementary school and then 6-8 into a middle school?
I think you're making it more I think it becomes very complex.
So the vote
We can
is,
do whatever the
though,
board would like to do, but I think it becomes very complex then.
it's gotta be closed before we can do anything.
Well, no, I
Right?
mean, you can set up a program and keep it open at the same time. You can do that. Nothing's preventing you from setting up a program. I was just saying earlier that if you tell everyone who's at the virtual academy that they have to go to a program and
Oh,
pretend to keep it open, that's sort of silly.
Well,
Right.
I don't think,
Why-
I don't
why-
speak
why
for
we
everybody, I don't
do-
think we're talking about doing the
Yeah.
program and the school.
Yeah, I
It's-
don't-
it's-
yeah.
It's one or the other.
It's
one
gotta
the
be
other,
one or
so,
the other.
Yeah.
Well, for the parents, what we can say now is, I think the sentiment on the board is that something needs to happen. So,
Certainly.
so that's,
It's, yeah.
and for anybody watching or listening, saying, well, Gainey, why is this now? Well, we use ESSER money And that expired September 30, 2024, the last round of ESSER money. So that helped us keep it alive, you know, when numbers weren't keeping it alive. So that's, you know, there's the big, kind of a big piece to it for the funding, but we'll have to go out and draw more. So,
Gary, what are your thoughts?
Next item.
I guess we just roll on.
Yeah, next item. School stays open for now.
Good evening, board members. Tonight I bring you a recommendation to approve right-of-way purchase by NCDOT at Wheatmore Middle School. The Department of Transportation is undertaking a much-needed road improvement project in the area all the way from just east of our school, Springwood Lane, all the way to South Main Street in the lower part of Pike. So there'll be turn lanes, and then in particular at our school, there'll be a longer turn in and turn out. So greatly improving the entryway to Wheatmore Middle. To do this, they need to obtain some road frontage from us for the actual highway and the permanent utilities easement. So it comes to a total of 0.342 acres, and they are offering $14,750, which includes the land and the permanent utilities easement. So once construction is complete, there'll be no negative impact to the school. We'll still have plenty of distance between the school building and the newly improved road, so there'll be no negative impact there. So we recommend approving that. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Well, there's no line, also road, is that kind of what that's tied into?
Yeah, widen and put the turn lane from
I mean,
Springwood
will
Lane.
maybe widen it all the way through Artsdale, is that the one?
Springwood Lane all the way to South Main Street.
Any idea when that'll start?
It has started, they're in the purchasing land phase right now. So technically, the project has a code with Department of Transportation in it, and it is started. So they're actively acquiring.
Well, that'd be a mess.
It'll be a mess while the construction goes out, but if you
I say
travel.
if you run a business or anything and you live through a road widening, you're lucky. I remember when they widened 311, my gosh.
If you don't have to travel that road of the morning, most people avoid it if possible.
Well, I do own a business right down the street on that road, and I do not want anybody to avoid going down that road.
You're very close to that road. How much
Yeah.
is it gonna take? That's more.
To be honest with you,
Hang
I
tough.
don't know if I'm supposed to say anything here or not.
You might
because,
not.
Might not.
I'll be your attorney. We'll get you some extra
Okay.
money.
I have signed my agreement on this. I'll tell you, I got more than.
I was gonna say, the fair market value.
It appears to be, yes.
I got more than fair market value now.
All right, so that being said, we need a motion to approve the right-of-way purchase by NCDOT at Wheatmore Middle.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
So quiet as.
Yeah, I know.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion carries.
If we could get 1.3 million.
Ready for me? Ready for me? Here.
Hope you're ready.
I move that the Randolph County Board of Education enter into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A 1, 3, and 5 in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege to discuss settlement of claims associated with BB versus Randolph County Board of Education, discuss confidential personnel matters made confidential by North Carolina General Statute 115C-319, and to give direction to cancel related to negotiations for the acquisition of real estate.
All right, we have the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye. Those are now in closed session. Right.
Which man on it? He's the smartest man on campus.
There's a little program. It don't hurt. There's a program out there. You can make.
Oh, Beverly, is somebody looking for you because it's 10 o'clock?
No.
I mean, what's this, I was reading,
We all be.
She's calling to see if she's on.
They're gone, are they? Did they take the cake with them?
They're gonna have to answer the phone if they leave.
If they ate all that cake, they're sick.
I'll tell you.
All right, so we need a motion to approve the certified personnel report.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We need a motion to approve the classified personnel report.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We need a motion to approve the administrative appointments.
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Need to approve the administrator contracts.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. I actually thought you guys were not gonna second anything tonight.